Both Rob Key and Brendan Nash completed hundreds, and Darren Stevens came mighty close to the fastest one of the summer on the final day of the LV County Championship match with Leicestershire at Tunbridge Wells, but their Kent side were unable to win the match as Greg Smith and Ned Eckersley safely saw the game out for the visitors. A draw was always the most likely result as the last day began, the weather treating us much better than it had on the first couple of days. Kent were still in their first innings at the start of play, and so the accumulation of batting bonus points may have been at the forefront of their minds, although they were soon also kicking on for a surprising win. Key, who resumed his innings on 81, and Nash, who restarted on 65, went about their business very smartly as they advanced the total along from their overnight 159 for 1, which had left them only 27 runs adrift of their opponents. Key needed only 20 minutes to convert his 81 to 100, his first of the season. It was a super knock by the former Kent captain, who needed 181 balls to reach it, from which he'd struck 16 boundaries. It was the 48th ton of the 34-year-old's career. He was out though soon afterwards to end a second wicket partnership of 208, holing out to Ollie Freckingham as he tried to go big off Jigger Nake. Key departed for 106 at 232 for 2. Kent's intentions were very clear when Stevens came in at number 4 to witness at close hand Nash get to 3 figures for the second time in a profitable season for him. The left-hander took a single off Nake to get to his mark, a fine effort which had used up 186 deliveries, from which he'd scored 14 boundaries. The rest of an extraordinary morning in which Kent scored at nearly 10 runs per over belonged to Stevens, who in just more than an hour blasted a remarkable 97 runs. These were the first of his 7 sixes as he took on all comers, while nearly ending these highlights by planting a shot so straight off Freckingham that it nearly smashed into our camera. Nash also changed gears, whipping Freckingham over wide long on for another maximum as Kent now started to race through the numbers. Stevens was simply sensational, hitting the ball hard and timing it magnificently well. In a flash, he was at his half-century, which had been secured off only 39 balls with 6 fours and 2 sixes. Now 37 years of age, the all-rounder proved that clean hitting is not just a job for the young whippersnappers of today's game. And don't think he was finished yet. More sixes followed, 4 in 1 over off Shiv Thakur, as Kent tried to get a declaration in before too long. In the end, they probably had way more overs than they expected to have with the ball at the Leicestershire batsmen, thanks to what can only really be described as an onslaught from the former Leicestershire man Stevens, who'd also taken 5 wickets in the first innings of this match. Had he just got a bit of bat on this, he would have had an incredible 100 in only 58 balls. As it was, he missed and was bowled to depart for a quite brilliant 97, which had contained 8 fours and 7 sixes. His excellence and the 128 runs added by Nash meant that the declaration arrived before lunch, Geraint Jones calling them in with a total on 353 for 3 for a lead of 167, with 2 and a bit sessions remaining to bowl Leicestershire out again, something they had a chance of doing when Stevens, who else, had Niall O'Brien caught by Matt Coles in the slips. He was out for 6 at 11 for 1, and you would probably now not have been given particularly good odds on Leicestershire seeing out this game, so huge credit has to go to both Smith and Eckersley, 2 batsmen in solid form right now. When they first came together 15 minutes after lunch, the pressure was on, but with each passing boundary and each passing over, this pair were able to ease the situation to make the visiting dressing room a much better place. With due care and attention, they didn't offer a chance as they just about confirmed the draw by batting through to tea. The pitch remained a good one to bat on, which doesn't really explain how Leicestershire was skittled out for 186 in their first innings, and after the break both batsmen went to their 50s. Smith first off 131 balls, giving him 3 half-centuries and a 49 in 6 innings this summer, while Eckersley got to his immediately afterwards off 103 deliveries. He top-scored in the first innings with 32 and maintained his progress as a batsman by reaching his mark for the 3rd time so far this year, and this for a team whose batsmen have generally struggled. These two certainly didn't struggle here, and as the last scheduled hour was reached, acting Kent captain Jones had seen enough and the draw was agreed, with Leicestershire on 139 for 1, both batsmen ending on 65. It was a relief for the visitors, who had to make do with just 4 points for the draw. Kent claimed 10, which still leaves them 3 adrift of Leicestershire at the foot of the table, with neither side claiming a 4-day win as yet.